Hey, what's up guys, Art from PlayStation Now here, and today I'm going to be telling you if I think the PlayStation Move is still worth it a half a year later. Well, before the PlayStation Move got announced, everyone was so excited about it. Everyone didn't know exactly what it could do. People just knew it was a new way to play PlayStation, a new motion controlling device, if you will. The Wii has done it. Xbox was about to do it roughly around the same time as Sony. They both got announced at E3. So people were pretty excited about holding the Move and getting one in their household. But half a year later, do people actually use it anymore? I can tell you right now for a fact, I don't use it as much as I thought I would. Granted, I did use it for 2 months after it came out. I used it up to then pretty much every day. This was my primary use of gaming. I played, set aside COD, I set aside pretty much everything else, and played Sports Champions. I played some of the demos that came on the disc. I just downloaded the Killzone 3 beta, but that's way down the road. So for the first 2 months, I did use PlayStation Move relatively, like, a lot. But 5 months later than that, it's April now. It's a little over half a year old. Do I still use it? No. It's pretty much collecting dust right now. And I don't feel comfortable knocking this device because I know it has a lot of potential, but Sony hasn't released a ton of stuff to actually bring out the potential. Sure, they just released Killzone 3, and sure, they just released a lot of games that use the Move, but not as much as I like. You know, when I first heard of the Move, I thought it was going to be just simple shooting games. Well, not simple, but complex shooting games. Like, I want a COD integration with this. There's so many things that Sony can do with this, but it just didn't happen. And I feel like I feel let down because it's such a great device and has so much potential. And they have a lot of things out there now that use the Move, but it's just not hardcore like Sony was advertising it to be. Sony was indeed knocking the Kinect because they don't see the Kinect being used in a hardcore environment. As I see it, the Move isn't in that sort of environment yet. I mean, I know that they plan on coming out with games in the future that use the full potential of the Move, but at this point, the only hardcore game we have at the moment is basically Killzone 3. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love the PlayStation Move. I just feel like there's so many more things that Sony can unleash this with, but it just doesn't happen. And I paid 50 bucks for this. I paid 40 bucks, I think, for the PlayStation Eye, which, to be honest, isn't completely useless without the Move. I can still video chat, but I think that's pretty much it. So I paid a good deal of money, probably around $90 to $100, towards the Move, and I am kind of disappointed on the road Sony chose to take with this system. Now, do I feel the Move has a ton of potential in the future? Of course I do. I feel like in the next year or so, Sony will start to realize that they don't have the hardcore games that they said they would, and they would incorporate that, and they would make games that use the Move. They would come out with patches for existing games for the Move. They did that with Heavy Rain. They did that with Little Big Planet. Well, to an extent. But what I'm saying is they need to incorporate the Move in everyday games that we already have instead of coming out with new games such as lame sports games that nobody really cares about. Now, for my final judgment, a half a year down the road, is the PlayStation Move still worth it? To be honest, no. I did pay about $100 for this device. I was extremely excited for it, but I feel like the excitement wore off relatively quickly. Well, man can only get so much of virtual ping pong and whatever sports that came on the disc. But like I said, as soon as Sony starts releasing more games for this thing, I'm going to brush some of the dust off and play this like I used to. Right now, though, it is sitting in the back of my room just collecting dust. And it's sad because Sony has a lot of, this has a lot of potential, but it's just not being used. So, would I recommend you buying this? I would hold off. If you really want to buy something of this caliber, I would hold off until some really good games come out. I don't think for the moment Killzone 3 is a seller for the Move, just the Move alone. but if you're fine with the games that they already have out, which is mainly party games, casual games, no hardcore games yet, but if you're waiting for a hardcore game and you're a hardcore gamer like I am, then I would hold back on buying the Move. Well, that's about it. I'm Eric from PlayStation Now, and I hope you enjoyed this little rant about if I still feel the PlayStation Move is relevant a half a year down the road. I can guarantee you that Sony will release a lot more games for the Move in about a year's time, but we just gotta wait. I've tried to be completely honest with you guys in this video, and I hope you like my information for what it's given. Obviously, you're not going to agree with 100% of everything I said, but I just wanted to give you guys what I feel considering I do this stuff for you. Well, that's about it. I'm Eric from PlayStation Now, and I'll see you later.